Hello, welcome everybody back to the Battle of Azeroth Alpha. Today we're talking the professions, and I am your host Josh One. Welcome. Now professions are getting a little bit of an item squish, just like our characters. We just open up here, as you can see. Instead of 800, it only goes up to 300. So we are going to be a little less. You won't lose any materials or patterns or anything of that nature. It's just a number change. That's it. Um, Also, of course, they've broken up each expansion into its own leveling things, so you can go back and level stuff at your own pace, but you don't have to worry about getting to 340 or something or 500 or something, and before you can start making and getting the materials for the newest expansion. You can this way you can hop right in and just start on the Battle for Azeroth stuff. Now, for mining, we do have, there are three tiers of stuff, just three ranks rather, and it's just more to make things right now to make you just gather more efficiently, nothing new or special about any of that. Right now we have the monolite ore, the platinum ore, and storm silver ore. These are the three ores you can find around Cold Terrace. Nothing really more than that for mining. So let's go ahead and move over to the skinning. Skinning, same thing. There's except for the ranks on skinning, there's a new one. It's called bone gathering. Apparently, you're going to be able to gather bones from the creatures on Coltrus and Zandalar, which is interesting. Get uncommon bones in rank 2. In rank 3, you get the highest possible amount of bones and increase your chance to find uncommon bones when skinning creatures. So this is really interesting. I'm wondering if the bones are going to be the like the rare mat that one of the rare mats that we need. We have leathering, of course, which just lets you content the leather, and the scales, of course. The icons, all this is just placeholders and stuff. I'm guessing, of course, the stuff that actually has leather actually have skin and stuff. You'll get leather off of, and the scale, of course, you'll get from creatures that have scales. Once again, nothing really particularly interesting in the ranks except for that. And guess and next up we'll have Herbalism skills, which seems like you have the Kunda's Bite, the Anchorweed, Riverbud, Sea Stalk, the Sarin Pollen, Star Moss, and the Winter's Kiss. Now, each of these are actually found in just about every zone so far, and it seems more, instead of just you're gonna have one herb per zone, it seems like you're gonna be able to find the herb in every zone, just in certain areas. Like I believe the Riverbud you're gonna find more on the coast, next to rivers and stuff. Riverbud is rivers and things of that nature, close to, and the sea stalk is actually, you're gonna find that more on the coast. Sorry about that, got it mixed up there. Once again, just three ranks. You can just mix it more efficiently. Nothing new there. It does seem like I think it was. Oh, they don't have it on here now. There was a rare one, I can't remember. I believe it's the Siren Pollen. It is going to be a little rarer to find. I'll have to check into that to make sure I'm not talking out of my behind there. Okay, next up we'll go into the crafting professions. Let's start off with leatherworking. Now, most of the templates aren't really working, so I can't really show you what things look like right now. Some of them icons may be placeholders, since this is alpha and things are subject to change. But as of standing right now, it does seem like the rare material that we are beginning will be the hardened tempest hide. And we got the calcified bones, which I'm expecting we'll probably make from the uncommon bones. And the expulsion seems to be the from how many we need and everything. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be kind of like our blood of Sagaris or Sagarite stuff from Legion. I'm gonna guess that's gonna be its job this expansion. You do have a mail and armor patterns. This one seems they do have just basic stats on here right now. There is not, like I said, there's no can't really look at them or anything, but in here we have the shimmer scale for the for scales. It does seem like there's weapons. It seems like they have spread the weapon making out throughout the professions, which is actually really nice. As the leatherworking can make bows, hand weapons, and things of that nature. Of course, you also have new drums. Now, these drums do the 25% haste instead of the 30 from regular. You have the hardest Tempest Tide, which of course you make with the Tempest Hide, and that. So that's where we'll be getting the hardened Tempest Hide. There we go. From this expansion, of course, you do have your barding to make sure you don't get dazed. You have your diving helmet that gives you lets you breathe for 15 minutes, and you can also make shimmer scale diving suits, which increases your swim speed by 100% for 15 minutes. This is actually pretty cool. I imagine this will be in kind of high demand for most of the expansion, because who likes underwater quests, right? Next up, we'll look at enchanting. Enchanting, you have your glove enchants, which of course is your standard stuff. It has stuff to make you mine, herb, and skin better. And it does seem the new gems or shards rather, for jewel crafting is the Umbra shards, and the new rare is defiled crystals, and our new dust, of course, is shadow dust. And once again, we'll have the expulsion for our rares. Now, the brands are the higher, and the sigils are the lower tier, as you can see. Once again, we have weapon enchants. Can't wait to see what these look like, actually. So you've got deadly navigation, which increases your critical strike chance by 30 seconds, stacks up to 5 times, and upon reaching 5 stacks, all the stacks are consumed to grant you 400 critical strike for 12 seconds. That's not bad. Same for that, except for mastery. That one's for haste. That one's for armor, versatility. This one gives you a proc, which procs an aura, which increases your attack speed by 35% for 10 seconds. In melee or ranged attacks, siphoning, we have just basic 7% leech, or 7 to leech rather. Permanently enchanted weapon, Tidal Surge, permanently enchanted weapon for mana regeneration. Tort of Elements, permanently enchanted weapon to proc an aura, which increases your elemental spell damage by 20%. Interesting. We have seen some wrist enchantments, which if you've seen some of my weekly updates or roundups, you can. They have to deal with with your Hearthstone. This one, the cold hearthing, makes you basically reduces the cooldown of your Hearthstone by 5 minutes while in the new zones. This one gives you an absorb shield, and this one makes it the speed of your Hearthstone, makes it you basically cast it faster. And for wands, for weapons, they have given enchanters wands this time around. Nothing too special about the wands right now. Decent stats. And next up, we'll look at some of the other professions. Blacksmithing. Blacksmithing. You can see the icons for the platinum ore and the storm silver ore. They has two. Looks like one, two. Oh nope, 3. I'm sorry. One's a storm steel. The other's honorable, which sounds more PvP induced. And then you have the mariner. Once again, these stuff doesn't work right now in the dressing room, so I can't show you what they look like. But we just see basic stuff. They all again have things right now. It's just making the materials required is less. It just reduces it. Nothing particular interesting about the ranks right now, unfortunately. You have same, but you do have once again their weapons. Blacksmithing and gotten axes, daggers, and looks like great swords and spears, but they don't have the icons. They have axes icons. Okay. Um, so they have quite a bit of weapons for the blacksmithing this time around, which is nice to see. Of course, you can get a skeleton key to keep all the rogues out of business, because hey, screw them. You can get your hoof plates, which increases your mount speed by 20% while in the new zones, and you can also get your stirrups, which allows you to interact with things while in the new zones on your mount. Next up, we'll look at engineering. Engineering has got quite a few things. You have a belt, holographic horror projector, which permanently attaches a specialized device to your belt, allowing you to fear an enemy. You have the mineralized plasma shield, which gives you shield in front of you, which deflects incoming frontal attacks. You have the space amplifier, which allows you to remove any movement impairing effects every minute. That's kind of nice. Got a lot of good PvP effects on here. And you have crazy assortment of bombs. A speed spreader, it roots all your targets within a 5-yard radius for 10 seconds. This one does it 5 yards. Enemies are slowed in 5 yards by 50% while in the area. Lasts for 10 seconds. This one puts the enemy asleep for 10 seconds. The damage, of course, will knock them out. This one here freezes an enemy, stunning them for 10 seconds. This one here has just stunning them and reducing, but it reduces their physical damage they take by 99% for 10 seconds. Really, a lot of good stuff here. This one actually does polymorph into a random creature for 20 seconds. So mages are going to hate that. Then you have the plague spreader, which makes an area of poison dealing right now, so 0 damage to enemies with it inside every 3 seconds for 15 seconds. Then you have your devices, which lets you summon a device to allow you to alter the look of your armor, and it lasts up to 2 minutes. This is interesting. I wonder what exactly that. Wonder if that's like a portable transmog. Sounds it. You got the electroshock mount motivator, increases your mount speed by 10% for 10 seconds, and it stacks up for 5 times, so you can torture your mount. That's awesome. This one allows you to summon a portable stable master that you can interact with for up to 2 minutes. The surface skimmer here lets you deploy a boat, which will immediately begin moving across the water for 25 seconds. Of course, it does not work on land. Has a 30-second cooldown. Now, this is interesting, but does it automatically put you in the boat, or are you going to have to try to catch up for the boat? And of course, like always, engineers have a great assortment of goggles for them to wear. They have given them, of course, guns and maces for their weapons. They also have of course, scopes and ammo, because guns and bows can't be enchanted regularly for some reason. So we have the top one here, the crow's nest scope, which critical strike. You have the frost laced, which does a small amount of frost damage and slows them. You have the incendiary, which does extra fire damage. And we have the actually scope, which increases your haste for 12 seconds. Okay, next up we will look at the other. Next up we're looking at jewel crafting. Of course, we have regular gems. These top tier, the Krakens, seem to be the top tier. You get have one for agility. Do all your major stats this time around. Looks like 9 is going to be the top tier for starting off this expansion. mid tier looks to be 4, and the lowest one is also 4, which that's probably going to be changed. I imagine the middle ones will probably be maybe 6. They'll probably end up upping that. Otherwise, there would just be no reason to make them. But we'll have to see what happens. You can also make rings. The high tier rings, the epic ones, do have sockets and do have ranks with them, while the lower tier ones do not. They do have sockets, but they do not have ranks. Once again, the ranks just make the materials required less. As you can see for the rings, let's see. If, rings actually do secondary stats. They have crit, haste, mastery, things of that nature. For the weapons, dual crafters, of course, get the staffs, which is always nice to see. I'm glad, can't wait to see the new models and stuff for a lot of them. Next up, we will look at inscription. Yay! The new inks for inscription, of course, are the crimson ink, the ultramarine, and the version. I'm gonna screw that up, but it looks like the Versendant ink is going to be one of the higher tier ones. The common is going to be, of course, the crimson pigment for that, and then the ultramarine, and then of course this one, you get the powder from there, and then you have, of course, the Verdescendant pigment. I'm screwing that up. Next up, of course, they get their codexes. This one is for excuse me. The Codex of the Quiet Mind is for the groups. You can set it out for your groups. And once again, the ranks are just for the crafting materials reduced right now, and nothing going on with them. Next, you have your random scrolls, giving you your fortitude and like things of that nature. Next, you have the tome, which is your personal combat changer. Next, you have the Scroll of Unlocking, which can also help put those nasty little rogues out of business. Next, you actually have things called contracts. This basically lets you enter a contract with the different factions of the new expansion, and every time you gain reputation with them whenever you do world quests on the new continents, which are really nice. You have Proudmoore, Stormsong, Waycrest, Nazmir, the Tortolans, the Voice of Azeroth, which I don't think I've actually ran into that one, the Vapiran, and the Zandalari. And next up, you also, of course, have new Dark Moon cards. You also have offhands to go with the new wands, so they get to make wands. You also have all the mass millings, and of course the new Ventus runes for the new raid. Okay, next up we'll look at the last. Hey, next up we'll be looking at, we'll go over tailoring real quick. We actually are getting new bags. Gain the 30 slot bag and a new 32 slot bag. And it looks like the new linen is called the sun bleached linen. Now, right now it seems like no matter what, the costs and stuff are just placeholders because everything costs the same. So we'll have to see what that changes into as it goes on. Once again, the ranks right now just reduce the materials required to craft it. Of course, you have your armor sets. Let's do the. Once again, the ranks are the same. Looks like you have the embroidered, the sun bleached, and the honorable for your tailoring sets this time around. You also have something new called battle flags, which doesn't say what they are, but I'm going to guess they're stuff to help with your group. I'm going to say defense is probably armor or something of that mess. Swiftness is probably haste or speed bonus, and freedom, my guess, is probably immunity to to movement, and parry effects, stuns, things of that nature. Tailoring can also make nets to hook people, which is going to be nice when you're trying to get away from somebody or stare them down so they can't get away from you. Also, this time around, of course, since first aid is going away, Tailoring does get bandages this time around, so you will have we do have the new bandages, which is the Deep Sea, and let's see if yes, it does, heals for 66, a little over 6,600 damage over 8 seconds, and the Sun Bleach does, looks like Sun Bleach is the lower tiered one at a little over 4,200 damage healed over 8 seconds. Okay, next up we'll look at Alchemy. And Alchemy, of course, we have our elixirs. You have the Elixir of Noxious Touch, which makes a burst of poison around you, dealing a little over 1,800 damage, split even among all enemies. So, it's within an 8-yard radius, so this is AoE, Elixir of Replenishment. Basically, you store 2,500 mana over 10 seconds, but can't really move. Raising Waves sends out a wave that grows in intensity, dealing more damage to the target the farther it travels. This is actually interesting. I can't wait to try this out. Next you have Steel Skin Elixir, which increases your armor for 25 seconds. Next you have the Coastal Rejuvenation Potion, which does health and mana. Next up we have the potions, which you have the Deception, which gains gives you the invisibility. Next up we have the Lightfoot Potion, which increases your movement speed by 150% for 8 seconds. Next up we have Concealment, which hides detection for as long as they're standing still. So basically everybody's use Shadow Meld, that's it, couldn't remember what it was. Then we have the Sea Mist Potion, which turns you into a cloud, allowing them to fall slowly from great heights, so basically a slow fall. And next up we have the Flask. So you have a Flask for intellect, agility, strength, and stamina. Next up we have a bunch of transmutations. So we do have a transmute for the expulsion, which this will be interesting to see what kind of cooldown it's on, or if it's on a cooldown at all. So this could be really profitable if you need them. That way you can sell the whatever they need to make for alchemy. Or let's see, cloth the skins. Well, that's nice. You can be able to change your linens and stuff into leather. Fish to gems. Nice, transmits fish into raw gems. Interesting. Looks like herbs to cloth. So they pretty much do exactly what they transport meat into a pet. Okay, that could be cool or very terrifying. Of course, you have where they change the orbs into the other things. For their stuff, alchemy gets the trinkets. Of course, you get just a regular trinket. It says it copies the wearer's current flask buffed but at a fraction of the power. It lasts for 12 seconds. So I'm wondering if you'll be able to double dip on your flask if you have this on, which should be interesting, at least for a small amount. Then you have an alchemist stone, which does basically what all alchemist stones do. This one, it will restore health whenever you kill a target. It yields experience or honor. This will probably be good for when you're leveling. And you have another alchemist stones, which does basically the same thing. So I'm not sure what's the difference. Where's it at? There it is. Between the two right now. One's intellect and the other. Okay, no, it says the same thing. So I'm guessing they have to do some real wording. Don't want us to know yet what they actually are. What they actually do. But that's it for all the major professions. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like or a comment. Both help the channel out very much. And as always, have a good day, and I will see you next time.